In 1979, a couple of TVA colleagues and I decided to form an oil drilling syndicate. And this is a story about that. I call it Allred, Tennessee, 1982, of oil drilling and greed. We recruited a total of 10 people, including ourselves, to invest $75,000 each in the proposed drilling program on the Cumberland Plateau in Middle Tennessee. With a combined $750,000 of capital, we figured we had enough to drill and finish about 10 wells if we were lucky enough to strike oil. We studied geological maps of the potential oil-bearing formations on the plateau and identified 10 tracts that we thought were likely candidates in the Allred area of Overton County. The oil-bearing formations consisted of Pennsylvania sandstone. The oil reserves were interstitial, meaning that the oil was found in the voids between the grains of salt in the sand that made up the sandstone. The oil was not pooled like you'd find, say, in the Permian Basin. In order to successfully recover this type of oil, you needed to drill into a fracture or fault line in the bedrock where the oil could be collected under pressure. Today you could use fracking, but that technology was not well known at that time. Over the next 2.5 years, we drilled a total of 12 wells without much success. 7 were dry holes. 3 produced natural gas, but unfortunately there were no gas pipelines in the area, and we were forced to cap them. 1 showed gas and oil, but collapsed before it could be finished. By the time we drilled the 12th one, I'd moved to Nashville. Late one afternoon in March of 1982, I received an excited phone call at my office from my partner. He said the borehole had strong brine, gas, and oil shows, and he expected it to hit at any time now. He suggested I jump in the car and head for the drill site, which was about 80 miles east of Nashville on the Cumberland Plateau. I ran to the car and I hit I-40 East. Just past the Nashville airport, I stopped to get gas and bought a jar of peanut butter, a loaf of white bread, and a 20-ounce coffee. As I drove 90 miles an hour, I wolfed down 3 or 4 sandwiches and the coffee. After about 45 minutes, I topped the plateau, exiting at Monterey, and drove the 15 or so miles on the 2-lane road to the drill site. It was dark and raining like cats and dogs. As I came off the 2-lane onto the dirt access road, I saw the drill site on the side of the hollow through the pouring rain, brilliantly lit by the high-intensity lights on the oil drilling rig. I slid to a sudden stop, slinging mud everywhere, and jumped out of the car. My partner ran up to me and said he thought I'd gotten there just in time. Just as he said this, I heard an explosion and looked up to see the cap of the diverter valve flying through the air, followed by a stream of superheated oil, brine, and natural gas, arcing 300 feet over the hollow into the retention pond below. The screeching release of the valve was deafening. The crew started moving quickly to get the drill out of the well and cap the diverter valve. My partner asked if I wanted some oil for a souvenir, and I said yes and started to look around for something to put it in. I spotted the peanut butter jar, scraped it out. One of the crew, wearing protective clothes and a large asbestos glove that extended to his shoulder, took the jar and filled it from the stream of now pure crude oil. The oil was light and rich, and it smelled like kerosene. You could strain it through bread and run a diesel engine without any refining. Very high quality, valuable oil. We were extremely happy and excited after almost 3 years of failure. It cost us about $75,000 to drill the well and another $65,000 to finish it. The average price of a barrel of oil in those days, at the end of the energy crisis, was about $24 a barrel. The quality of this oil commanded an excellent premium at $35 a barrel. The first week it produced about 300 barrels per day, or almost $12,000 a day, but within a matter of about 10 days it was down to less than 30 barrels a day as the pressure subsided. By the end of the month, we were down to pumping 10 to 12 barrels every 2 to 3 days, or about $3,000 to $4,000 per month. It is not unusual at all for a well to stabilize and produce at a set level for several years, maybe decades. But this is where we made our mistake. We let greed get the better of us. After doing some research, we decided to have the Williams brothers treat the well to increase the production rate. They were a highly successful independent oil company out of Ponca City, Oklahoma. The idea was to mix acid with the penetrating oil and pump it down the shaft under pressure. The acid would dissolve the sandstone and create a larger void, increasing the surface area for collecting oil. This always has some risk of ruining the well, but we thought it was worth a try. Well, they miscalculated and ended up killing the well. Unfortunately, they used a higher concentration of acid, which overheated the well, thus baking the paraffin in the oil and sealing off the surface and killing the well. By the time we paid them, it was a total loss and no recourse. We finally decided to cap the well and closed out our program. Over the 3 years period, we burned through $750,000 with nothing to show for it except a Jiffy peanut butter jar with a little crude oil in it. I call it my monument to greed. I've kept that jar of oil on my desk for almost 40 years to remind me to avoid stupidity and greed. Thank you.